But when you're sort of looking at an expansion and talking about breaking the rules of your game and sort of flexing in that way, it feels like a real natural fit for an expansion that builds on that game. But that question when viewing a sequel becomes a little different, because a sequel is a different kind of project, it's a different kind of consumer proposition. So when you guys are taking a look at XCOM 2 and sort of thinking about what to take, what to leave behind, like how do you come at that as distinct from, you know, Enemy Within?
Yeah, I mean, I think the phrase, I guess, breaking the rules is a good phrase in terms of when you're going to present a sequel, you have to add value. I mean, you can't just improve everything. So you've got to add new things. You've got to improve the things that were there. And so, breaking the rules is kind of a good way to think about it. And so, you know, we have some new things. We have some old favorites that we wanted to bring along and improve. And along those lines, like we can talk about some of the aliens that have made the transition to XCOM 2. Like we have the Muton, everybody's beloved. Well, nobody loves the Muton. Does anybody love aliens? I don't know, but everybody's hated Muton. But
you got any Muton fans in the audience?
Yeah.
There you go.
Have those people removed immediately, please. Sympathizers. Right. Oh, that's we really changed the Muton. No, that's the sectoid. So yeah, the sectoid. That's one that's a good example of breaking the rules, right? Because how do you update the sectoid? You know, the original XCOM, they were these cute little pot-bellied gray things, and they were pretty cute. And then we kind of updated them to be little clawy bird. Yeah, I'm good at words. Clawy bird, little crouchy things in Enemy Unknown. I can speak for a fee if anybody wants. But yeah, I mean, then Greg, when we started talking about the sectoid, it was one of those cases of like, okay, the sectoid, it has to be a sectoid. People expect a sectoid. We love the sectoid, but we have to think about how we're going to change them.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, XCOM is built on UFO lore, and so, you know, the sectoid, everybody knows what a little gray is, and so playing with that where you know what it is and not departing from that, but still making something new is probably one of the hardest things when we go about making a new alien. And with him in particular, it's incredibly difficult because, you know, he's naked. It doesn't look like he has armor.
It's true.
And so
that's awkward.
The simplest ones can sometimes be the most difficult, but he's also the place where we usually start. So, you know, when we started to approach the sectoid, you know, we wanted to blend him with human DNA, and we wanted to do a lot of cool stuff, and so we made him bigger, a little more formidable. But again, while
that's kind of a current is the blending with human DNA, so you can kind of see it in a lot of our aliens.
Yeah, it kind of traces through. So now he's taller. He's like 7 foot tall. But every once in a while, he still glitches back in. Again, we kind of break the rules, but then every once in a while in his animation, he'll glitch back into a sectoid scamper. And so again, we're trying to kind of connect that stuff, but kind of still change it up a little bit.
Right.
So.
And then when we push gameplay-wise, we want to push them. And so obviously everybody knows that sectoids, they mess with your head. And so we keep that. But in XCOM 2, the sectoids, they can mind control from the beginning. They can do a lot of things. But one of my favorite things the sectoids can do is reanimate corpses. So now they can raise. There we go. Yes. Kill your friends twice. Yeah, so that is always a great moment where they can do it to advent soldiers. They can do it to your enemies that you kill. Then they'll raise them. They can do it to your friends who have died on the battlefield. So now, of course, the key is if you can take out the sectoid, then the zombies will fall. But it's one of those cool things that the sectoids can do. So Muton, again, we updated the Muton, a little more slender, you know, a little more.
We actually went backwards with him. You know, we actually wanted to kind of remove some of, again, to kind of make him look more like he's blended with human. We kind of wanted to remove some of the crazy bulk of the armor to kind of make him look a little more articulated like a human. And so we actually went a little bit backwards to like originally XCOM and made him a little bit more skin-tight green outfit. But we really wanted to push his scale, so he is a lot larger than the one in EU as well, and a little bit more muscular.
Yeah, and gameplay-wise, we decided to give the mutons now. They have a lot of abilities, but one of the new abilities is their melee attack. And in addition to a melee attack, so they like to angle to get up close to you. They're armored, so they can last a long time. So then they like to angle up close to the soldiers, and then they'll get in there and melee. And they also, if you try to melee them, it'll show it has a counterattack. So they are very deadly. Yes, that was a sequence of brutality.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite.
Right.
Oh, it gets better soon.
Oh, yeah. How do you improve upon the chrysalid? Improve in quotation marks, yes.
And this is one that's pretty cool because we've talked a lot about chrysalid, but nobody's seen the chrysalid, right? So from X2, so
yeah,
this is going to be kind of fun.
Obviously, you know, you make them a little more metal, you give them bigger spikes. Yeah, but with this one, you know, art-wise, we really like the look we had, and so we just kind of exaggerated a little bit.
Yeah, we
for
wanted
X2.
to, you know, push the points on and make him feel a little more poisonous, and so
Yeah.
there
Toxic.
it is.
Now, this is the great thing about the chrysalid gameplay-wise, is that now the chrysalid can burrow into the ground and become basically invisible. So, yeah, it's like the worst proximity mine you can imagine. See, look at them. They're invisible, can't see them, and then you get too close and, oh, out they come. Yeah.
Why would that be scary?
All right, and then they'll cocoon your soldiers, and out of the cocoon will spring 3 chrysalids. So,
Real gross.
obviously, I've made a good decision. Your tears are like candy to me.
Got a real vicious streak in you guys.
Yes. Right, the Berserker, and again, this is another one that we've updated. So she's huge. We made her. We really wanted to push her. She was close to the Muton before in Enemy Unknown, and we wanted her to be her own character. And so she's massive. She's really, really big.
Yeah, the Muton in X2 is significantly bigger, and the Berserker is really, really big, and she is terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
And you see the ports on her where she gets all her juice. We always like to think she's just roided out there.
And again, we wanted to strip her down a little bit in the sense of you could see her body, you could see some of the human elements. We wanted to see a little more of what was under the armor, and so we've kind of retained, you know, her. The size, push the size, but her skin is really her armor, and those red warm areas are more like rhino skin, and she's got these ports where, you know, she's been roided up or something, but to really push her as far as we could.
Yeah, and gameplay wise, so the Berserker has to get enraged, and when that happens, she can move really far, do a lot of damage, and the best thing is that devastating punch there, and that's all gameplay. So she will do that to anybody if they get too close. So if the Advent soldiers get too close to an enraged Berserker, she'll take them out too. Like, she just is in a blind rage. So anything that gets too close. So you can actually play around with her and get her to attack the Advent. And so speaking of the Advent, so now we're going to show, wait, what's first? Is it a new one yet? Are we showing the new one?
Nope.
No, not the new one yet. New things are coming. So, and this we have shown is the Advent mech, of which there are a couple levels. So this is a level 2. This is
Yep. And we've only shown shooting. We haven't shown actually some of the coolness of this character. So.
Right. And so the mechs, you know, insult to injury. The Advent, they have developed their own mechs here, and they are very armored up. They're very hard to take down. Art-wise, you want to say anything about them?
Yeah, we just wanted to really kind of make them feel very mechanical, very robotic. You know, give them something that remove some of a lot of the Advent stuff. A lot of the characters are a little softer in some ways, and this one has just a very different feel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Complete robot, and the mech's ability is a micro missile attack. And so the mech can devastate a wide area, take the cover away, and then the Advent support troops can then attack the XCOM units without cover. And here we go. So the Stun Lancer, I love the Stun Lancer. So this is a new, we've never shown the Stun Lancer before. So PAX exclusive. The Stun Lancer is awesome. So she is a complete psycho. He and she, all Advent are both genders. But so no, I don't mean individuals, they're both genders. I mean they're both male and female Advent. All Advent can be male and female. They're not like frogs or anything. So is that even true? I don't even think that's scientifically true. So whatever, aliens, that's what I know. So yeah, so the Stun Lancer is awesome. So when you see a Stun Lancer, they are psychos, and they will ignore everything to melee. So we don't want melee just to be the role of the Ranger class. The Stun Lancer is a sword-wielding, an electric sword-wielding Advent trooper. So they get close, and then they will ignore everything to get close to a soldier. They'll sacrifice themselves to do it, and they run really far. So when you see when you're already in trouble, and then they have the ability to, if you're lucky, stun you a little bit, but if you're unlucky, they can knock your soldiers unconscious. So, yeah, they're awesome. The Stun Lancer is awesome.
How exactly do you mean awesome? I don't find them awesome.
Well, I mean, in theory, they're awesome.
They're terrifying.
Right.
I hate those things.
If they're on your side, they'd be awesome. Mind control them, and they're awesome. So, so also new stuff is, you know, we've talked about the Grenadier, but we haven't shown any real footage of that. And so the Grenadier is kind of evolution. This is something that we sort of evolved. This evolved from the Heavy, but they have a lot of really cool abilities. So they shoot lots of grenades. They can fire within a cone. They do a lot of really cool abilities where they can lock down areas. So they can, you know, shoot this giant cannon in a cone. They can launch a lot of grenades. And now we have all kinds of specialized grenades, lots and lots of different kinds of grenades that the Grenadier can shoot, and they can carry a lot. So.
I didn't have anything.
Yeah, and that's good, actually. The Grenadier does a good job of showing off all the improved destruction, as you can see. Lots of new fidelity, destroying floors, ceilings, all that stuff.
It was nice of you guys to end with a little Grenadier action. It was looking really grim for us for a little while. You guys are not setting out to make anyone's life easy.
Something that's more fixed narrative, actually, we get to show for the very first time anywhere, is actually there will be an XCOM novel. Yeah, I've read it. It's great. It's by Greg Keyes, who wrote The Briar King, and what it does is it's sort of it's a prequel to XCOM 2, and so it's sort of sits between them, and it's cool. It's got a lot of old characters and new characters, and there's something really neat about seeing characters you know, and they're fictionalized, and it was really cool.
And being able to push 20 years in the future, like XCOM 2 is, it allows us to take some freedoms that, you know, a game that picks up right after the last one would be a little more difficult. You know, I think we've had more openness because of that difference in time, you know, in the game. Right. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want XCOM, which isn't to say that XCOM won't at points be linear, but, you know, we want to make XCOM, we love XCOM, we want to make as many XCOMs as we can, and so for us to untrack the narrative and sort of instead focus on the player experience and have a lot of continuity, but not necessarily be linear every time, I think that was something we wanted to try.
And it was such a common thing. I mean, so many people lost EU.
Yes.
You know. Multiple times.
Right.
So
and I always say for myself too, in the universe. So in the universes where every time you play a game of XCOM, I always think it's, you know, you're spinning off an alternate universe. In the universes that you won, XCOM 2 never happened. Like, I don't want to take that away from people, and I don't think that the games that I won, XCOM 2 ever needed to happen. But the games that I lost, XCOM 2 is just sort of a chance to go back and say, oh, what would have happened in that world that I did lose and the council did shut down? So again, what we talk about when we talk about story, what really drives us is not necessarily the linear narrative of XCOM, but actually the character story. And so this next feature is something I'm very, very excited about. This is probably my favorite feature. So what you can do is, I did not give myself that nickname. So the character pool is something that exists outside of any single player game, in which any character that you customize is added to the pool, and then can be shared with other people. They will come back into your single-player games if you want them to, and it's not just soldiers. You can mark up characters to say, this is going to be a scientist in my games, this one's a VIP, this one's a bad person that I'm going to have neutralized missions, so if you have anybody you don't particularly like.
Excuse me? I mean, we see this handsome soldier here, clearly a paragon of his type.
Right, it's uncanny. But the idea is that, we have pushed customization way further than we did in Enemy Unknown. And what we want to do is allow you to do that, and you can do it in your single player games. That's a cool thing too, is any characters you customize in a single player game, you can very quickly then, you see the button down there, save the character pool. So if you start becoming attached to a soldier and you've done some customization work, you just hit save to character pool, and they're now in your pool forever, and they will show up as recruits in future games if you want them to. And the great thing is that because you can share your pools, so you can export from your character pools, and you can share with your friends. So if somebody makes, I don't know, like the 80s WWE or something like that, or Star Wars characters, whatever it is, you can share those with each other. You can just import them into your character pool, and it's a really cool way for people to save the characters they've customized, dictate what scientists and engineers are in their game. And it's, I've done this, and so if you make, I've made my wife a scientist, and so she'll show up in my game as I'm playing. And let me tell you something, when someone you love shows up as a mission reward and you're trying to choose what to do, it becomes extra difficult to be like, no, I'm not going to rescue her. I'll go over here and just do this, and I need to get some supplies while my wife is in an Advent jail. But then you rescue them and they're real staff on the Avenger, and so it's everything. It's VIPs, it's bad guys, it's soldiers, and you can share them. So that's something.
This is a great dev tool too. Like everybody on the team is in the character pool.
That's right. That's right.
And we'll go in, and every once in a while I may make Garth pink or something, and save him out a little funny, and wait till he plays and discovers that he's been changed.
Yeah, every right now we're playing with a character pool, which is all the devs, and so it's funny because you'll see the character pool is very aspirational. Like you'll see the way that people view themselves, and you're like,
it's a little scary.
Sure you're that badass, but
see Dave aspiring to a sweet stash over there.
Right. Dave is a weed dealer, apparently, who hangs out behind a strip club.
Is that a setting I can pick in the character pool?
Right.
Make him like an unseemly NPC that gets turned into a chrysalid.
That's right. Yeah, so the character pool is that's something that we were very excited to share with everybody. And I'm very excited to see all the pools that get made and shared with everybody. Oh, the monocle, there we go. The eye patch.
Even better.
Yeah, we have brow rings. We have face jewelry. We have all kinds of customization stuff. There's no way we could show it all. So it's really cool. And if you customize that much, that's why I had to let you guys save all that stuff. So.
Did anything hit the cutting room floor, like giant bunny heads? Decided, no, it's probably not going to be a program.
No, that's what's weird is that the character, like I think I put things on there like the monocle was like a joke. I was like, I'll come back to this in 2 years and come up with something better. But they went so fast, they were like, the monocle's in, and I'm like, the monocle? That was kind of a joke, but all right.
You'd be surprised at how many gameplay decisions get made like that.
Yes, yes.
Wait, we didn't take that out? We shipped with that?
So.
And once it's in.
Right. Can't take it out.
Yeah, so, change all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yep.
It's such a cool feature.
Yep.
So.
It's nice to be able to have that, you know, all that time you spend in that character development, because I'm sure we have all spent a lot of time crafting these characters to then have it be safe, have it, you know, be able to come back around and not just one-off for the given game you're playing.
I mean, it actually does serve that purpose of you make your friends, you make your family members, or you can make yourself and send it to your friends and family members. But the idea is that all that time you spend, as long as you hit the save the character pool button, will not be wasted, because you'll be like, oh, they died as a rookie, but at least you know they're saved and they can appear in your future games. So.
Very cool. We are running a little bit towards the end of the panel here, running low on time, but I think we've got a little...
yeah, we got one more, because we love PAX, we have one more treat for you guys, just real quick. We're going to show you now.
We have an urgent matter to address in the city formerly known as Seattle. While our efforts to recruit new operatives there have proven unusually successful, a deadly new enemy now stalks the region. Transmitting footage now. You may now resume your tactical simulation training. Good luck. Welcome back, Commander.